Hi, my name is KAREL DECKER, and I am the Internship Director at Bi-County Services in Bluffton, Indiana. Bluffton is located up in the northeast corner of Indiana. We're about 20 minutes south of Fort Wayne. We are a small community, but we are close enough to Fort Wayne that you have everything that you need close by. And I see Beth Allard-Yoder has joined. Hi, Beth. Beth was an intern of mine several times ago, so she's the one that got me doing this. Just want to tell you a little bit about Bi-County Services. Bi-County is an agency that serves adults with developmental and intellectual disabilities. We serve mostly adults. We do have a few children that we work with, mostly in the summertime. And there's also an opportunity for the intern to work with a professional from the First Steps Department of Indiana. So they can work with, either do co-sessions with speech and language pathologist, an OT, a PT, however that works out. I see that Rachel Parker has also joined. She was also one of my former interns, so it's nice to see both of you. At Bi-County, we are a building. We have our own place that we have a building where people come to us during the day, and it's called the Day Services Program. As part of the Day Services Program, we are just a small section of it. They also have a workshop where the consumers can go and do paid work. They have a variety of jobs that come in from different factories and different just places around the community that have small jobs that they're able to offer them. So they may pay them like piece work, just pennies per part to put them together. And they're really designed so that the consumers are able to be successful with all of that. We also have classrooms they attend. Within those classrooms, they're set up to be individualized so that each person is able to have something to do during the day. They might be working on puzzles, they might have worksheets so that they're able to learn something just throughout their day. They also set up all kinds of different kinds of activities. There are musicians that come in and work with them, or sing for them. We have classroom contests and different, decorating pumpkin contests, and they have cooking contests and lots of activities so that we can keep the consumers engaged throughout the day. Again, everything is tailored towards the consumer so that we provide things that are interesting to them and things that they want to do. Music therapy has become a really important part of all that. I can tell you that they all really, really thrive on being able to come to music. It is a privilege for them, and it's something they look forward to. And if they're not in it, they're usually jealous of everybody else who gets to do it. So that's always fun. As far as where our consumers live, many of them are in supported living, which means they live with maybe a roommate, maybe by themselves in a house, an apartment. They could live still with their families. We provide staff for them. We might make sure that their bills are paid, but then we also will, they come to the Day Services Program during the day. Some people still live with their family, and so really the only services they get are the Day Services Program. Which gives some relief for their family. It gives them a place to go during the day so that their family is able to go and work. As far as diagnoses that we serve, we have a wide variety of diagnoses. Everyone must have an intellectual or developmental disability. They must have that. But there are a lot of dual diagnoses that we see. We see a lot of people with depression. There's some schizophrenia. A lot of people have a lot of medical issues. There's seizures, of course, and we also have autism and cerebral palsy, and we have, I'm drawing a blank, I'm sorry, Down syndrome. So there are a lot of different variety of disabilities, but with this particular population, they do have a lot of other psychiatric issues too. We do see people that are very profound all the way up through mild. So we have the full gamut of consumers that you can imagine. You know, we have people that need 24-hour care, and we have people that hold a full-time job and are able to drive and work in their own homes or live in their own homes. So it's a great facility for seeing a lot of different things. I can tell you every single session that we do is very, very different. And it's a challenge, and it's fun, and it's exciting, and it's always interesting. I'd show you our room, but today is a snow day for my children from school, so I'm having to do this video from home, but I'm just going to describe to you what we have in our music therapy room and what the environment is like. We do have 2 rooms. One room is my office, and then the room right next to it is our music therapy room. Several years ago, we made the room a little bit bigger. We used to have a separate intern office, and now we've opened that up so it's one gigantic room, which is a lot of fun and gives us a lot more space, and everything seems a lot more open. The intern does have their own desk back in the corner, so that they have their own spot, their own place to be. They will also have a spot in my office as well for when I am doing sessions and they need a place to go. Within the music therapy room, we have a electronic drum set, which is really nice because we can plug some headphones into that, and we can change the volumes so that it doesn't bother the people around us too much. We also have a set of Suzuki tone bar chimes, and 2 of our groups are Chimes groups, and so we have chime charts that they will follow, and they use those instruments, but we use them with other groups as well. We have a banjo, which has been a lot of fun to learn. I found it not to be so different from guitar. You just put your fingers in different places, so it's really just learning new fingerings. We also have a ukulele, which has been our newest addition. We have plenty of guitars, a wide variety of them. We also have an auto harp, a cue chord, a whole bunch of rhythm instruments, so your typical tambourines and egg shakers and jingle bells and sticks and all kinds of things. We also have the shape drums. We have paddle drums. We have hand drums. We have tubanos. We have djembes. There's a conga drum. So lots of drumming. We have a digital piano so that, again, we can change the volume. It's on wheels, so we can move it around the room however we need to very easily, and that's really fun to do. What else do we have? Oh, we have all of the Orff instruments as well. We have a number of xylophones and a glockenspiel. So I'm trying to think what else is in the room. There's a keyboard. We do have a mandolin, although none of us have learned to play it yet, so that's still a work in progress. We also have a very nice sound system that we can pull out and use for performances. So lots of microphones and all of that equipment as well. As I'm doing this from memory, it's hard to think if I'm forgetting anything. I think that's probably all of it. We are located in kind of a separate little section of the building, which is nice for when we get really loud, because then the people that are back in our area are very aware of how loud we get and they're okay with it. So we're not bothering other people. So that's nice. Okay, so as far as our music therapy department goes, we have a weekly schedule that we do, and each group or individual meets once a week for either half an hour or 45 minutes. We have groups that like to just play instruments. We have groups that like to sing. And of course, the ones who like to sing are beautiful singers, and they really, really enjoy it. And their personality comes out so much when they get to sing. So that's really fun to see. Let's see. We have a couple of relaxation groups where we are teaching them relaxation techniques, which is really, really important in this population. We really have to break things down and say, this is how we do this. And they respond really well to that. We have a show choir that likes to go out and perform at a local nursing home, and they really enjoy going out there and being able to give to the residents there. And the residents at the nursing home think it's great that we bring them out there so that they can perform too. So it's a very mutually beneficial relationship. And there's one nursing home in particular that we go to, and we have a really good relationship there, and they look forward to us coming, and we very much look forward to going. We also have a choir that likes to sing a lot of church music, and they perform at the agency every couple of months or so. They put their performance together. And performances that we do, it's all the consumer's choice. They decide what songs we do. They decide, what order we might do them in sometimes. They'll decide if we're going to do any dances or any props that we'll use or any instruments that we're going to be using. We really design our sessions around their choices and what they want to do. Because in so many situations, they don't get to make choices. They may not decide what they're going to wear for the day. They may not get to decide what they're going to eat because there's a menu already in place. They may not be able to decide where they go for the day. But when they come to music, they can choose so many things, and there's so many opportunities that we can give them to make choices. And that's a really, really important part of what we do. I am the only music therapist at Bi County. I have one intern at a time. They come for 6 months. The interns may overlap for a week or two. This is actually my new intern's first day today, and then my outgoing intern's last week. So we're having an overlap this week, which makes it busy, but it's a good busy. Let's see. So as far as the internship itself goes, it is 1,040 hours, which is pretty typical. Most of those hours are done at the agency. So you come in the morning, 7:30-ish, get done about 4 o'clock, and then you're done for the rest of the day. We have a schedule that's set. We are here Monday through Friday. Let's see. There is a stipend. One of the big benefits of our internship is that we do pay minimum wage. So you are able to earn $7.25 an hour. There are some hours that are unpaid, but most of them are paid. So there's a paycheck that comes, and that's very, very helpful. I know for many people who are students, and you're going to go to an unpaid internship, but this is a paid internship, and so that's why it's worth applying to. Sometimes I don't get people who apply, and it's really a shame because this is a paid internship. Thankfully, something always works out, and it's very rare that I go without an intern, so that's good. So let's see, what am I forgetting about? In the internship, I usually set up a number of assignments. There's usually some type of a program proposal where an intern will develop a proposal to give to a company to try to establish their own job. And I've had several interns take their program proposal and actually create work for themselves. So I know that this works, and I know that it's beneficial. It is one of the competencies that you can do this. And so we make sure that this is something that is applicable and something that you could potentially really use. And we tailor that assignment to whatever the intern really wants to do. So you pick your own town where you want to live. You research the companies in the area that could offer music therapy, and you narrow it down to one, and then the rest of your project is geared towards them. I do have interns read a couple of books. One of them is going to be more of a professional nature, so something related to music therapy, whether it's a particular type of music therapy or maybe it's about occupational therapy, or maybe it's about a particular diagnosis, something like that. The intern can choose what they want to do. The other book would be something more of a personal nature. So it might be like someone who has a brother with a disability or a child with a disability, just so we can get that kind of perspective, because I don't think we always think about that as therapists. You know, we get in our own therapy bubble, and we forget that there's a life outside of music therapy as well. And, you know, being a mother of a child with autism, that aspect of it all is very, very important to me. So you would get that perspective from that book. But again, I talk a lot with my interns about my own experiences so that they understand what it's like to live with disabilities, because that's a whole different perspective. Interns are observed a lot. Usually when the internship starts, you will observe as an intern for the first week, and then we decide what your schedule is, and then we start gradually getting you into sessions to where you take over your whole caseload, usually within the first month. I really believe that you learn by doing, and so the sooner you can get into sessions and actually doing sessions, the better off you're going to be. And so we get in there and start doing it. I observe a lot in the beginning. I am in every individual session for billing purposes, but I really try to encourage the interns to be as independent as possible and to really develop their own relationship with the consumers, because that's where the therapy comes into play. The interns also have the opportunity to formally observe me and to give me feedback on what I'm doing, because learning never ends. You know, I've been a professional for 19 years now, and I'm still learning things every single day on how to improve what I'm doing and how to be the best music therapist I can be. And we all need to benefit. We can all benefit from being observed. And I also have interns videotape themselves so that they can watch themselves and see the things that I might be mentioning in observation forms as well. I mentioned the co-program already. We do have supervision meetings once a week for about an hour, usually Friday afternoons, and we'll sit down and just review the week, and we have an outline that we go through each week. And we, you know, there are different topics that we might learn about as well. Near the end of every internship, we do have a big performance that we do with the consumers. It's something that they requested. It's something that they want to continue. So we continue with it. We go to a local church and we perform there. It's we put together a big program, and it lasts like an hour and a half. And consumers will perform solos. They will perform group numbers, usually based around a theme of some sort. And it's always a challenge coming up with something new, but we manage to each time, which is great. And the consumers love doing it. And it's a chance for them to show off for their family. It's a chance for them to show the new intern off to their family, and that's always fun. So let's see. If you are interested in applying to this internship, what you will need to do is send me an email. I am listed on the AMTA national roster list, so you can find my email there, but it is my name, KARELDECKER@hotmail.com. And if you contact me, I can send you an application packet, which has information about the internship, some more specific things. And it will also have an application in there that you can fill out and email back to me. If you are interested in a January internship, the deadline is April 1st. So that's probably my next available opening is January of next year. So once April 1st comes, that is the deadline. As long as that application, that written application and essay questions are into me, I count it as on time. I know how letters of recommendation and transcripts, that all takes extra time sometimes. And I've had people apply at the last second. So as long as they're in by midnight of the deadline, then we're good. So some other things that they've asked us to talk about are some tips for the new intern. And so just some things that I think are helpful as you're applying for internships is be aware of deadlines, be aware of what is really required. I can tell you for transcripts for me, they need to be an official transcript, and that means something that you pay for. So, you know, you do need to go and do that. And I think it's really important because if you were to get an actual job, that is required. You have to go and get an actual transcript, and this whole process of internship should mimic what happens in the real world. And so now's the time to learn. And I've had interns who have just submitted something they printed off a line, and that's not acceptable. We need the actual transcript. Let's see. Trying to think of some other tips. When you go and set up interviews with internship sites, I would highly recommend that you keep in mind that they are not just you are not the one, you're not the only one being interviewed. You are also interviewing that internship site, and that's really important. That you are trying to see if that is a place where you belong and if that's a good fit for you. I always take my interns around and show them the agency. I introduce them to consumers, and there have been times when I can tell they are terrified of the consumers and they don't want to be around them, and that's not a good sign. That should be an indication to you that that's not somewhere where you want to be. So make sure that you're asking the questions and you're really looking at the facility as if it's a place where you want to be. You are trying to decide if that's where you want to be. And if it's not a good fit for you, then you shouldn't be there. And don't accept an internship just because it's paid or just because of the location. It needs to be a place where you want to be, a place where you know that you're going to learn, where you're going to gain the skills that you need as a professional, because this is your last chance to get more instruction. Once you go out into the real world, maybe you'll have a supervisor, maybe you won't. So this is really your last guaranteed chance to find lots of supervision and lots of feedback and to really improve on everything that you've learned so far. And you've learned a lot. Our schools are great and they teach you well and they teach you a lot of good skills. And internship is the time to come in and put all of that into practice and to really make it work and to really figure out who you are as a therapist and, you know, be willing to experiment and to try new things. And, you know, maybe you heard about something in school and now you want to try it in the therapy session. Try it and see how it goes. And I always encourage my interns, let's try it. And, you know, if it flops, I'm there to pick you up. It's going to be okay. But just try it and see how it goes. You will learn from it, whether it goes well or whether it doesn't. You will learn from that. And this is the time to do that. That's really, really important to remember. Another thing that they asked us to talk about is, what do I consider to be a good candidate? And that's really a hard question for me to answer. I don't always pick the person with the absolute perfect resume and the best skills. A lot of times I pick someone that I just like because they are someone I can get along with. And in our little corner, we are very close. We work together all day long, and it needs to be somebody that I can talk to and somebody I can get along with and somebody that I feel I can help. And sometimes that is someone with really good musical skills, and sometimes it's not. And sometimes I'm going to help you get those musical skills, and we will work on that. I am looking for somebody who can play the guitar and can play the piano. I expect you to be able to play in, you know, your 1-4-5 chord in 3 or 4 keys. I think that's typically what we're expecting of students. You need to be able to carry a tune in terms of singing. If you don't have if you cannot keep pitch or match pitch, then that's a skill that you really need to be working on with a vocal instructor, because that's not something I can help you with. But you know, I'm looking for the minimum skills, and if we can keep the basic chord structure within a song, you're going to be able to go far, and you'll be able to do a lot of things. So it's not just about being the perfect musician. There are certain people skills that can't be taught, and that's why I say I look for someone I can get along with and somebody that I feel like I can talk to, because that is usually a good indication of how they are within sessions. And sometimes we can teach that and sometimes we can't. It just kind of depends on the situation. Again, you can contact me by email at KARELDECKER.com if you have any questions. I look forward to applications possibly in the future, and you know, I'm really glad to have had this opportunity to talk with you about our music therapy program. It is a great place, small town, so it's cheap living. We also offer a stipend, so you have an income while you're here. I give my interns as much support as I possibly can. We share a lot of information. I gain just as much from my interns as I'm able to give them. So, you know, it's a mutually beneficial relationship. And I've always really appreciated having that opportunity. And I can tell you that my interns have left confident in their abilities. They've had lots of experience to do music therapy. They do it well. And I believe all of them have passed the board exam. And that's really what we want to get them to. And it's a great internship site. You can talk to any of my former interns and they will tell you how great it is and how great the consumers are and how supportive the staff are. And so highly encourage you to apply. The deadline is April 1st, so you have a couple of months to get an application together. If you're interested in the July internship, the application deadline is October 1st. And I will tell you that my application deadlines are set the way that they are because of my schedule and because of the concerts that we do. And it's really set up to be really the most convenient time for me, just because that's how my life works out. You know, between concerts and establishing new interns, that's really the best time for me. So good luck in your internships and finding what you need out of your internship. And I am very glad to have had this opportunity. So thank you. Have a nice day.